Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha. Contemplation on RIbhu Gita Chapter 11. Atmananda, bliss of the self. This chapter is a very great aid for contemplation and meditation on Atmananda, the bliss of the self. Let's contemplate and meditate on the supreme spiritual and divine revelations of sage Ribhu in RIbhu Gita. These are very powerful tools for self-realization, immediate enlightenment, God realization. If with full devotion we contemplate on meditate on these eternal truths of the self. Atmananda Prakarana Varnanam, description of the topic of the bliss of the self. Ribhu, listen, all is only Brahman, I say. In the name of Shiva, this is the truth, this is the truth. O Master of Yoga, there is nothing else whatsoever, there is nothing else whatsoever other than the Brahman. Meditate on this, contemplate on this. The unreal is not even an atom. All this surely is not even an atom. The body too is not even an atom. There is nothing else whatsoever. There is nothing else whatsoever other than the Atman, the Brahman. The Brahman alone exists. Contemplate on this. Meditate on this. All is only the self, the pure self. All is only self, the pure self. Contemplate on this. Meditate on this and become free from all sorrows, sufferings and ignorance. Because all is only the self, the pure self. Self eternal, pure self transcendent, the pure self immanent true. Contemplate on this. All is only consciousness without a second. The self is eternal, is spotless and pure. There is nothing else whatsoever. If the self is considered as merely atomic in dimension, all is not even an atom. Absence of sankalpa too is a mere atom. There is nothing else whatsoever. Sankalpa is only consciousness. Consciousness is the highest state. Bliss is the supreme measure. All this that is seen is nothing but consciousness alone, Atman alone. All that is seen is nothing but self alone. Contemplate on this, meditate on this. Atmaiva Sarvam. The syllable Om is only consciousness. Consciousness itself is all. Bliss is the supreme measure. All this that is seen is nothing. Contemplate on this. I myself am also bliss. Anandamaya. I am Anandamaya. Contemplate on this. I am Anandamaya. I myself am also bliss. I myself am changeless consciousness. Bliss is the supreme measure. All this that is seen is nothing but Atman alone, self alone, consciousness alone, Brahman alone. Consciousness alone is known as Atman or the self or the Brahman or God. You are that self, I am that eternal self, and everything that is seen is nothing but self alone. The one non-dual eternal light of consciousness alone exists. That is Atman, that is self, that is all. Meditate on this, contemplate on this, in order to become free from all ignorance, born sorrows, sufferings, birth and death. All is self alone. I myself am the mysterious self. I myself am the intersticeless. Bliss is the supreme measure. All this that is seen is nothing. I myself am the Supreme Brahman. Contemplate on this, meditate on this. I myself am the Supreme Brahman. Brahmaivahamasmi, Brahmaivahamasmi, Brahmaivahamasmi. I myself am the Supreme Brahman. I myself am the teacher of teachers. Bliss is the supreme measure. All this that is seen is nothing. I myself am the support of all. Sarvadhar I am. I myself am happiness beyond happiness. Bliss is the measure. Bliss is the supreme measure. All this that is seen is nothing but self alone, Atman alone. Contemplate on this eternal Mahamantra. Contemplate and meditate on this, that all this that is seen is nothing but Atman alone, self alone, Brahman alone. Brahman of the nature of pure consciousness alone exists. Nothing else exists. Contemplate on this, meditate on this. I myself am the great light. I am of the self of all. Bliss is the supreme measure. All this that is seen is nothing. The entire phenomenal universe is void, is a mere projection, an appearance caused by mental modifications. There is nothing that exists other than the Self, the Brahman. Contemplate on this. I myself am the satisfied Self. I myself am the attributeless. Bliss is the supreme measure. All this that is seen is nothing. I myself am the perfectly full Self. I myself am the ancient. Bliss is the supreme measure. All this that is seen is nothing. All that is seen in the phenomenal world is illusion. Brahma satyam jagan mithya. Brahma satyam jagan mithya. The Brahman alone is real. The phenomenal universe is unreal, only an illusion. Contemplate and meditate on this Mahamantra. I myself am the peaceful Self. I myself am permanent. Bliss is the supreme measure. All this that is seen is nothing. I myself am everywhere. I myself am the well-established. Bliss is the supreme measure. All this that is seen is nothing. Dear Divine Selves, contemplate on this Mahamantra. Meditate on this Supreme Truth and become free. I myself am everywhere. In other words, I myself am the omnipresent reality. Contemplate on this, that I alone permeate and pervade every single being, object, or atom of the universe, because I alone am the omnipresent reality. I myself am everywhere. Sarvavyapi I am. Sarvavyapi, omnipresent truth I am. Contemplate on this. Meditate on this. I myself am everywhere. There is none but me alone present everywhere. I am omnipresent reality. I am sarvavyapi. I am self of the nature of consciousness. I alone am Brahman. Brahmaivahamasmi. Atmaivahamasmi. Contemplate on this. Meditate on this. I myself am the Jiva. I myself am higher than the highest. Bliss is the supreme measure. All this that is seen is nothing. I myself am higher than the highest. I am the supreme reality. There is no reality higher than me. There is no existence superior than me. Contemplate on this, meditate on this. I myself am the meaning of the great aphorisms. I myself am Shankara. Bliss is the supreme measure. All this that is seen is nothing. Brahma satyam jagan mithya. Jivo brahmaiva naparaha. Contemplate on this, meditate on this. I alone am the great aphorisms. I alone am Mahavakyas. Tattvam asi. I am Atma Brahma. Pragyanam Brahma. Aham Brahmasmi. All these four Mahavakyas, the aphorisms of the Upanishads. I alone am all these aphorisms, Mahavakyas, the great sayings of Vedanta. I alone am all Mahavakyas. Contemplate on this, meditate on this. I myself am the hard to see. I myself am the illuminator. Bliss is the supreme measure. All this that is seen is nothing. All the objects of the phenomenal world with name, form and attributes are nothing in the sense that they are not what they appear. Their essence is pure consciousness. Every single object, every single being, every single atom appearing or manifesting as objects or beings of the world is nothing but manifestation of the Supreme Brahman, the Supreme Reality, the Atman of the nature of pure consciousness alone manifests as the phenomenal world. Therefore, the phenomenal world of the names, forms and attributes is essentially non-existent as it is after the dawn of the knowledge. All these differences and distinctions and dualities of the phenomenal world dissolve into one supreme truth. That is the Brahman of the nature of pure consciousness, the self of the nature of Atman, the self of the nature of pure consciousness. The Atman alone has appeared in these myriads of objects and beings of the world. The one Brahman, the one indivisible, non-dual Atman alone has appeared in this entire phenomenal world. The phenomenal world by itself is nothing but Atman, Brahman. Contemplate on this aphorism, the supreme truth. Contemplate on this Mahavakya. Brahma satyam jagan mithya. Jivo brahmaiva naparaha. Brahman alone is real. The phenomenal universe of names and forms is unreal. The individual jiva and the phenomenal world is nothing but Brahman alone. Contemplate on this, meditate on this. Brahma satyam jagan mithya, jivo brahmaiva naparaha. I myself am myself, only myself. I myself am myself. I myself am the great bliss. I myself am full of consciousness. I myself am the pure self. I myself am the truth alone. I myself am the self of the void. I myself am the all-reaching Sarvagaha, Sarvagaha, omnipresent reality I am, Sarvavyapi, Sarvagaha. I myself am the Vedanta. I myself am the Vedanta. I alone am the subject matter of all Vedantic treatises, all Upanishads, all mantras of the Upanishads, and in me. An objective of all Vedanta is me and me alone. I myself am the highest supreme consciousness. I am supreme consciousness. I am. Contemplate on this, meditate on this. I myself am consciousness alone. I myself am filled with consciousness. I am nothing else. I am the nature of consciousness. I am of the nature of consciousness. I am devoid of anything exterior. I am nothing. I am the self of Brahman. Meditate on this. Contemplate on this. Meditate on this. I am the self of Brahman. I am the self of Brahman. Contemplate on this. Meditate on this. I am not anything else. I am the Supreme. I am ever pure and liberated. I am ever satisfied and untainted. Bliss the great, bliss. There is nothing else, whatever. There is nothing, there is nothing, there is nothing beyond the highest of the high, and that highest of the high I am. That highest of the high I am. Contemplate on this, meditate on this. All this world is only the self. All this arising out of the mind is only the self. All this happiness is only the self. This world is only the self. Brahman is all consciousness alone. I am Brahman alone. Bliss is the greatest measure. All this that is seen is nothing. All that is seen is the Supreme Brahman. Whatever is seen is indeed ever non-existent. This is ever so. All Sankalpa, that is mental modifications, is only Brahman. Brahman, nothing else is the greatest ever. Bliss is the supreme measure. All this that is seen is nothing. Contemplate and meditate on this. Brahman indeed is Brahman, of the nature of consciousness and consciousness itself. The self is pervaded by consciousness. The self is ever pervaded by consciousness alone. And you are that ever-present consciousness. Meditate and contemplate on this. All this world of movement is unreal. The entire phenomenal world is unreal. Brahma satyam jagan mithya jivo brahmaiva naparaha. Contemplate on this, meditate on this eternal truth. I alone am is also unreal. You alone exist is also unreal. All modes of activities of the mind are indeed unreal. Qualities and absence of qualities are indeed unreal. All earth is unreal indeed. Water is ever unreal indeed. This mind of a world is unreal indeed. Light also is unreal indeed. Wind is ever unreal indeed. This also is unreal indeed. Ego is unreal. So also the intellect. Brahma and the beings of the world are all unreal. Thought is ever unreal indeed. It is only the self. There is no doubt. All the demons are unreal indeed. The form of Ishvara is unreal indeed, because ultimate supreme reality, the Ishvara, is formless, nameless, attributeless reality. So the form of Ishvara is unreal, imaginary, illusory. The universe is ever unreal. Hari is ever unreal indeed. Brahma is ever unreal indeed. All his creations are indeed unreal. All this phenomenal universe is unreal. Contemplate on this. Meditate on this. Mahadeva is unreal indeed. The Lord of the retinue is unreal indeed. Uma, the consort of Mahadeva, also is ever unreal. Skanda and the chiefs of the retinues are unreal. The individual soul is unreal indeed. The individual soul is unreal indeed. What's the meaning of this? That's replied by Adi Shankara so profoundly. Brahma satyam jagan mithya jivo brahmaiva na paraha. Jiva, as it appears with names, forms and attributes, is unreal, because that Jiva is essentially nothing but Brahman, the Atman, the Supreme Self. In this sense, the Jiva and this Jagat are unreal, because the source, substance and substratum of all the individual Jivas and the entire phenomenal universe is one non-dual, indivisible, pure consciousness, Brahman, the Paramatman, the Supreme Self alone is the essence of all. In reality, everything and everyone has arisen out of Brahman, exists in Brahman, and finally dissolves back into the Brahman. Contemplate on this, meditate on this. The individual soul is unreal indeed. The body is unreal indeed. The Vedas are ever unreal indeed. The demise of the body too is unreal. Ribhu is declaring even Vedas as unreal. What is the meaning of this? Vedas too are in the realm of name, form, and senses, the words. Vedas are an effort to explain and endeavor to elaborate or explain the inexplicable Brahman. So Vedas are just a pointer to the Supreme Brahman. The end objective of Vedas is that Supreme Brahman, but Vedas are not in that sense Brahman. The Brahman is a living, eternal, universal reality, supreme reality. That is why the Vedas are very important for spiritual instruction, but they are not the Brahman. The idea of Brahman is not Brahman, as the word food is not food. The word water is not water. The word water is not going to quench your thirst. It may have other values. Even so, Veda means knowledge. The knowledge supreme, the knowledge absolute. They are very useful, but Vedas by themselves are not that supreme reality, because the supreme reality is sought to be explained. The Brahman is the objective of the Vedas. The words and mantras of the Vedas explain, comment upon, point towards that Brahman, but the words, all the mantras, every scripture is nothing but conglomeration of words and sentences. Therefore, howsoever grand and glorious and powerful the scripture is, the word is, that is only a pointer, a milestone, not the destination, not the end objective. That end objective, the supreme reality, is only Brahman, only Atman. That is why, says Ribhu is saying, that Vedas are unreal. Unreal means they are not the Brahman by themselves. The Brahman alone is the supreme reality. The Brahman alone is the essence of all. Therefore, the Vedas too have the Brahman as its essence, but not the Brahman, the living Brahman, the living Atman by themselves. That's why they are unreal. The Dharma Shastras, the scriptures and Puranas, legends are all distortions of the truth and are unreal. All is indeed only unreal. Genealogy is unreal, because the real, the supreme Brahman is inexplicable, beyond the realm of mind, thought and words. The mind, thoughts and words are unable to explain that supreme glory, the supreme eternal existence of Brahman. That is why they are being called, all these scriptures, the Vedas and Puranas and Shastras, as unreal. There is only one reality in the universe, and that reality is Brahman. Contemplate on this, meditate on this. Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya Jivo Brahmaiva Paraha. In this entire chapter of Ribhu Gita, this supreme truth is being revealed. Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya Jivo Brahmaiva Paraha. All this from beginning to end is unreal. The elite of sages are unreal. The worlds are ever unreal indeed. What is to be seen in the world also is unreal. Happiness and sorrow are indeed unreal. Success and failure are unreal indeed. The greatest bondage is unreal indeed. Liberation indeed is surely unreal. Because in the Supreme Brahman, in the Supreme Self, there is neither any bondage or any liberation. Therefore, all bondage, all liberation, all success, all failure, all sorrow, suffering and joy are mere imaginations, superimpositions by false identification of the self with body, mind, senses and intellect. In essence, in ultimate reality, the self, the Atman, the Brahman is ever free from all bondage, all sorrow. Therefore, there is no liberation in the Supreme Brahman. The Brahman, the Atman is ever free, ever beyond all taint and attachment, ever immutable and transcendent reality, nameless, formless and attributes, nirguna nirakar, nirdvand, anam Brahman alone is the supreme reality of all. Contemplate on this and meditate on this. Death and birth are unreal indeed. Sentience and insentience are unreal indeed. The entire world is indeed unreal. The concept of oneself is unreal indeed. Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya Jivo Brahmaiva Paraha. Contemplate on this, meditate on this truth. All death and birth are imaginary, illusory. They are projections of mind. In supreme reality, there is neither any birth nor any death. As in the case of an infinite ocean, the birth of succession of waves, foam, bubble is a mere appearance of name and form for a momentary period. They arise from the water of the ocean, they exist in the water of the ocean, they dissolve in the water of the ocean. Even so, every single assumed birth and death is illusory. Every single jiva and every single being and object of the universe is born out of Brahman, exists in Brahman and dissolves back into the Brahman. Therefore, in ultimate reality, there is neither any birth nor any death. All birth and death are caused by ignorance of our true nature. Contemplate on your true nature. You are Atman. You are Brahman. There is no death, there is no birth in you. No corona pandemic, no corona virus can touch you because you are beyond all attachment, you are beyond all death and birth. The death and birth are only in the imagined body. the illusory body alone is subject to birth, decay, disease, and death, and you are beyond body, mind, senses. You are Brahman alone. Contemplate on this, meditate on this, and become free from all bondage, become free from all sorrow and sufferings. Forms are unreal indeed. The idea of an auspicious state is unreal indeed. I ever is unreal indeed. You is also unreal indeed. Everywhere there is unreality. The moving and unmoving are real, unreal indeed. Charachar Jagat is illusory. All beings are unreal. All results of action are unreal. All the universe is unreal. All attributes are unreal. All the rest is unreal. All that is dual is unreal. All the universe is unreal because all that is dual is unreal. The universe is in the realm of duality, and all duality is mere projection of the mind in the non-dual self, in the non-dual Brahman of the nature of pure consciousness. There is no world of name, form, or attributes. That supreme reality you are, that Brahman and Atman you are. Meditate on this, contemplate on this eternal truth. Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya Jivo Brahmaiva Naparaha. All sin is unreal. The triad of Shravana and Manana and Nidhidhyasana, listening, reflection, and one-pointed profound meditation is unreal. Single categories and multiple categories are unreal because even the Shravana, Manana, and Nidhyasana are only an aid, an instrument of reaching, knowing, and being the supreme reality. In the Supreme Brahman, there is no activity, there is no sadhana, nothing. It's always a fulsome and wholesome reality. So, in the realm of ignorance bound jivas as we are, all Shravan, Manan, Nidhidhyasan, contemplation, and meditation are required only because of ignorance of our true nature. Once through the Shravan, Manan, Nidhidhyasan of Vedantic truths, you become self-realized. You become established in the self and in the Brahman. Then and thereafter, there is no listening to the Vedanta, there is no reflection on Vedantic aphorisms, there is neither any Nidhidhyasan nor any Samadhi for the Brahman. That Brahman is supreme reality. That is the end object of Vedanta. That is the supreme objective of yours and mine and everyone. And once we realize that we are nothing but Brahman alone, the Atman alone, thereafter there nothing remains to be done, nothing remains to be known, nothing remains to be enjoyed, because that is the supreme Ananda. Brahmani Anandamaya. All power is unreal, all things are ever impermanent, gods and others are unreal, all purpose is unreal. Shama is always unreal, Shama is ever unreal. The doubtful is unreal, The fight between gods and demons is unreal. The concept of Ishvara is unreal. Worship is unreal. Time and space and such are unreal. The concept of holy shrines and such is unreal, because all these belong to the realm of phenomenal world. The Brahman is beyond all that. In Brahman, in Atman, all these don't exist, because Brahman is the eternal, the immutable, ever satisfied, ever fulfilled, wholesome reality. That Brahman you are. Contemplate on this, meditate on this, and become free from all sorrows, sufferings, wants, desires, fear of disease and death. Become free. There is no disease or death in the self, in the supreme identity. Your ultimate personality is Brahman. Your supreme identity is Atman. In Atman, which is eternal, immutable truth, there is no disease, there is no decay, there is no death. You are beyond birth and death. The birth, disease and death all belong to the illusory body-mind, and you are the illuminator of the body-mind. You are one non-dual, eternal revealer, the light of pure consciousness, which illumines this body and the universe too. There is no disease, there is no infection or affliction or disease or death. In you, the real, the Atman, the Brahman you are. Contemplate on this, meditate on this. Dharma and adharma arising therefrom, as also their definitions are unreal. All activities are unreal. The misapprehension as oneself and another is unreal. The concept of the existence of the mind is also unreal. The gross body is unreal. The subtle body is also unreal. I say in the name of Shiva, all I say is truth, the truth alone. All bodies, the triad of bodies, Asthula Sharira, Sukshma Sharira, Karan Sharira, these are all unreal, because in the Brahman is bodiless, the formless, the nameless, attributeless. All bodies have name, form and attributes, and the Atman, the Brahman, the supreme reality of yours is nameless, formless and attributeless. That's why you are beyond all the bodies, all the forms, all the names and attributes. Even if you alone pervade and manifest in all the names, all the forms and all attributes, you in essence, in yourself are nameless, formless, attributeless Brahman. Contemplate on this, meditate on this. Heaven and hell are unreal. Happiness arising therefrom from heaven is unreal. All grasping is unreal. All that is of the form of the graspable is unreal. Shining like truth is unreal. I say in the name of Shiva, it is all unreal. All that is said to be of the nature of the present is unreal. All that is of the nature of the past is unreal. What is said to be the future is unreal too. This is the truth. The truth I say in the name of Shiva. Of this world, the beginning is unreal, the middle is unreal, and the end is unreal, because in essence you are Brahman. This Jagat, the universe, is nothing but Brahman, and Brahman is ever eternal, immutable, birthless, deathless reality. Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya Jivo Brahmaivana Paraha. Contemplate on this, meditate on this Mahavakya. The probable is always unreal. Ever there is no doubt that it is unreal. Knowledge, ignorance, and what is to be known are ever unreal. The universe is ever unreal. The inert is ever unreal. The seen is ever unreal. These are like the horns of horse. These are like the horns of a horse, non-existing, imagined. Thought is ever unreal. The existence of sheaths is unreal. All mantras are unreal. There is no doubt that this is the truth. This is the truth. There is no world apart from the self. That is what is the real meaning of Adi Shankara's declaration that Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya Jivo Brahmaiva Naparaha. The Brahman alone is truth and the Jiva and Jagat are false and illusory because the essence of even Jiva, the individual self, and the Jagat, the phenomenal universe, is nothing but Brahman, the Atman of the nature of pure consciousness, in, upon, and through which the light of pure consciousness, in, upon, and through which the entire phenomenal universe and individual jivas appear. Due to mental projections, they appear to exist, but what really exists behind them and within them is only Brahman. Therefore, Brahman alone is the source, substance, and substratum of the entire phenomenal universe, and all the jivas are essentially Brahman alone. Contemplate on this, meditate on this. Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya Jivo Brahmaiva Naparaha. There is no world apart from the self. The self alone manifests as the phenomenal world. You of the nature of pure consciousness, the Atman alone manifests as the entire phenomenal universe. There is nothing of this non-self ever. Anything apart from the self is unreal. This is the truth, there is no doubt about it. Contemplate and meditate on this supreme revelation of RIbhu Gita, that anything and everything apart from the self is non-existent. There is nothing that exists. There is nothing that does exist or can exist besides the self. Whenever there is existence, the self alone has manifested there as Jiva or Jagat. There is no happiness apart from the self. Listen it carefully, contemplate on this and meditate on this. There is no happiness apart from the self. Every single pleasure you derive by your sensual pleasures after being in contact with the objects of the senses is essentially nothing but the pleasure or joy or happiness or bliss of the self alone. There is not even a single iota of happiness outside self. This is the most liberating, most profound revelation of Vedanta philosophy, that you keep running around, hunting around, hankering after the sense objects that becomes the source of your birth and death, infinite cycle of birth and death, because unfulfilled desires for sensual pleasure and happiness bring you back in another form, in another life, and then you suffer. You don't get the satisfaction through the ephemeral momentary sensual pleasures. You are essentially hungry and thirsty for the pleasure of the self, the joy of the self, nothing and nothing less than the Atmananda, the happiness and bliss of the self can quench your thirst for happiness, satisfy the hunger for happiness. Every single sensual pleasure is essentially a search for the Atmananda, the Brahmananda, and that Atmananda, the Brahmananda, the bliss of the self, the bliss of the Brahman is ever present within you, because you are nothing but self, you are nothing but Brahman, but because of your ignorance and misidentification of the self with the body, mind and intellect, you are suffering for nothing. You are the infinite ocean of happiness as the self. The self of the nature of pure consciousness alone is the source, substance, substratum, seat at center of all happiness. There is not even iota of happiness anywhere else in reality. Even when you derive some sensual pleasure, when you indulge in sensual enjoyment, it is essentially a fraction, a particle of the Atmananda, the Brahmananda, the bliss of the Atman, which manifests during that sensual indulgence, that sensual pleasure. The sensual pleasure by itself, the contact of the sense objects, the senses with the sense objects by itself is absolutely unable to provide you even a fraction, even a particle of even sensual pleasure. The sensual pleasure too is essentially derived and is a particle of the bliss of the Brahman. The Brahmananda alone is the source, substance, substratum, seat and center of every single pleasure, every single joy, every single happiness, and the absolute bliss. All are imagined on the Brahmananda, the Atmananda. You are embodiment of that Brahmananda. You are the embodiment of the bliss of the self. You are ever fulfilled. You are ever satisfied in your real nature. There is no happiness apart from the self. There is nothing else apart from the self. There is nowhere to go apart from the self. One should remain forever in the self, because self alone is omnipresent reality. Know the self and abide in the self. That is the supreme bliss. Contemplate on this, meditate on this, and become free from all sorrows, suffering, fear from disease and death. You are that Brahman. You are embodiment of supreme love. You are embodiment of everlasting beauty. You are embodiment of infinite bliss. You are. Contemplate on this, meditate on this. You are a fulsome and wholesome reality. Nothing and no one exists apart from you. because you are self, you are Atman, and Atman is an omnipresent, omniscient, and omnipotent reality. That reality you are. Contemplate on this, meditate on this, and become that Brahman Supreme. This explanation of the bliss of the self has been expounded to you by me. Whichever wise man hears this once, himself becomes Brahman. Brahmavid Brahmai Bhavati, Brahmavid Bhavati, Brahmavid Bhavati, Brahmavid Brahmai Bhavati. The knower of the Brahman verily becomes Brahman. The knower of the Brahman verily becomes Brahman, because the Brahman is not an external reality. The Brahman is the most intimate, ever-present reality of yours. Once you know that reality, the Brahman, you become Brahman, you abide in Brahman, and thereafter there is no sorrow, suffering, fear of disease or death, because you are that infinite, eternal, immortal truth called Brahman and the Atman. Contemplate on this, meditate on this, and become free from all fear of disease and death, because you are immortal Brahman, you are eternal Atman, you alone are the source of all happiness and joy. There is no happiness, no joy, there is no pleasure outside you, because you alone are ever-present reality, omnipresent. Even in all the sense objects, there is nothing but the self. You alone are present even there. This gives instant liberation from bondage by being heard even once. Listen this carefully. What a great tragedy that we humans, being provided this boon, this great divine opportunity, like the texts and sacred scriptures like RIbhu Gita, the highest and the peak of Advaita Vedanta, revealing and declaring that even once if you hear, listen this supreme truth carefully with full devotion, contemplate on this and meditate on this, then one can become free, instant freedom, instant moksha, instant enlightenment is possible once you listen to these divine words of supreme reality. Instantly you can become free, because freedom, the moksha, is not to be manufactured or derived or borrowed from somewhere else. Moksha, the Brahman, the supreme state, is your most intimate, ever-present, eternal reality. But out of ignorance you have forgotten it. You just have to dissolve your ignorance. And after knowing the self, which is an ever-present reality of the nature of pure consciousness, you become that self, you abide in that self. That is called moksha, that is called brahmajnana, that is called liberation, that alone is called self-realization or enlightenment. That is the end objective, supreme goal of every human being. This gives instant liberation from bondage by being heard even once. By understanding the meaning of this treatise, one is liberated from everything else. That is why I was trying to explain most of the verses which appear to be abstruse and contradictory. I was trying to make it simpler for you so that it gets soaked and within every cell of your mind, body, intellect, and your existence. Once you imbibe the true meaning of these words and sentences of RIbhu Gita, even one chapter, even authentic, genuine, profound devotion to even one chapter of RIbhu Gita can liberate you, instant liberation, because the truth is ever present reality. It is not in the next moment, after any condition. There is no condition to the Brahman. The Brahman is absolute reality, unconditioned, ever-present reality. So this great opportunity, as the divine words of Ribhu, revealing the supreme non-dual divine truth, the Brahman, the Atman before you in such utter simplicity and crystal clarity, use it by listening to it, contemplation and meditation upon this, abide in this supreme truth, drink the nectar of supreme reality of your own nature. You are the Atman and Brahman supreme, that is the supreme glory. Sutta, worship with a committed heart the full, the true, the great Ishvara. One who does so uninterruptedly becomes here in this world ever Brahman, with the divine truth of the self, eternal and without agitation of the mind. He exists with knots cut asunder in Ishvara at the pure feet of Shiva and shines inwardly. He becomes restful inside and surely becomes after death the entire universe. Thus ends the 11th chapter of the Ribhu Gita. Contemplate and meditate on the supreme divine wisdom, the Mahavakyas of Vedanta as revealed in the words of sage Ribhu, and become free, because you are Brahman, who is always free, unconditioned reality. You realize that you are the Atman, you are the Brahman. There is nothing apart from you. There is nothing separate from you. You are source of all happiness, joy, love and bliss. You are all in all. You are that supreme reality. Contemplate on this, meditate on this, and become Brahman and Atman alone. Chidanandarupa Shivoham Shivoham Chidanandarupa Shivoham Shivoham Chidanandarupa Shivoham Shivoham